Lesson 54, topic, creative magic. See appendix. How to more effectively influence the mind of others to perform creative magic more efficiently. Greetings, brothers and sisters. I am Ola. I have previously addressed this topic, but not with the depth I wish to explore now. I have already explained that with creative magic, by influencing the higher dimensions of reality, you can change the behavior of those around you, or of those whose behavior you wish to change in order to achieve certain objectives, provided these objectives are in accordance with the Father's desires and the divine plans He has designed for us all. Now, I want to focus on the topic of directly changing the behavior of those whose behavior you wish to change, changing their thinking, changing their mental disposition to receive certain messages that can be beneficial in achieving the objectives you are planning. Once you have your mind in the higher dimension of reality and you are observing the current situation and you see all the relationships between the elements that compose it, you will then be able to perceive who is involved and the relationships between them, as I mentioned earlier. Once you know the people you need to work with, so to speak, the process is based on the following. In that higher dimension of reality where you are, where you can perceive all the elements, you must create a ball of energy in which you will store the mental energy that will be the source of the entire subsequent process of changing the minds of these human elements involved in the change you want to bring about. This sphere is simply a storehouse of mental energy. You can feel it by visualizing a beam or a wave, whatever you like, and send mental energy to that place. This energy can be sent through visualization of what you want to change, what you want to achieve, and it's also valid to use the words along with the image, giving the words as much power as possible. Words in this dimension are very valuable. They have great power, and in union with the image, they become something truly powerful. So what you have to do periodically, as I explained in the previous lesson, is refill that energy ball. To do this, you have to ascend. When your mind has reached the higher dimensions of reality, when it has arrived at that place, and you see the energy ball, you recharge it each day you meditate. You will see that it doesn't hold much energy, because often what you want clashes with some desire of the Father, or something that has to happen first. And until that prior event occurs, you won't be able to fulfill your desire. You are able to see this event since in that higher dimension of reality, all the components are visible. Once the blocking factor, your desire, has disappeared, you will visualize how the energy in the sphere is distributed more rapidly among all the elements involved in producing the change. You will also perceive how the mental disposition changes. This is the moment to use mental transfer between you. Ideally, this sphere will act as an intermediary, and that mental influence will go towards the human elements involved in this change. I'm not talking about a simple modification of the facts, because you are changing reality. I mean that in addition to carrying out this process, you also have to influence the mind of these people. You have to do both things at the same time. At first, it will be difficult. But with practice, and as you do it every day, it will become much more natural, and the process will be much faster. And all of this is possible because your desire is in favor of, not against, the desires of the Father, and that guarantees that it will happen. As I explained in a previous lesson on this topic, you are becoming angels tasked with changing reality. This is the process undertaken by many special people on your planet and on many other planets where there is intelligent life, where there are beings capable of connecting with higher levels of reality and modifying the reality in which they live. That is what this is about, being instruments of the Father in these physical dimensions where you live. Once the mental transfer is occurring, along with the transformation of events that will lead to the change in reality that you are longing for, at that moment, the change will be unstoppable. Nothing can be modified. That is why it is important that every day when you meditate, I repeat, every day when you are doing this process, you must be diligent. You must go to this higher dimension of reality and recharge the ball of energy and perform the two processes I explained earlier. Concentrate on what is being transformed in reality and at that same time, produce a transfer of thought from that ball of energy. It is storing your thoughts and intentions in the minds of people involved in that change. This is a sure way to achieve change, and it can be much faster if, instead of just one person, there are several people performing this creative magic, each with a slightly different intention. It's difficult for it to work as effectively as when one only person does it. It is very difficult to coordinate the thoughts of several people, and this makes the transfer of energy to this ball of energy and to the higher dimension of reality less efficient than when a single person does it. It can become filled with contradictory thoughts, which drains a great deal of energy and therefore a significant capacity to accomplish what one desires. If you want to do it in a group, the first train the unified thinking among all members. If you clearly perceive this, if everyone is united in the same thought, you will all feel it perfectly. I'm not talking nonsense. Those who meditate in groups know this very well. It only remains to say that the Father's plans are far beyond your capacity to understand. But with these practices, you can come much closer to that understanding and to that union with the Father. You will benefit enormously. The more you do it, the better, without a doubt. And if you find someone who has the same ability to perform this mental process, and you can coordinate your thoughts with that person, the results will be magnificent. There is still much more to say on the subject, but I will address this very interesting topic in other lessons, especially for people who want to practice creative magic. They may find it both interesting and very practical. So until next time, brothers and sisters.